Welcome to my predictions of UFC 318. Let's get into them. UFC 318 goes down this weekend, and I'm excited for the card, but I don't think the card's that good. It's just what it is. But let's get started with Carly Judice versus Nicole Cagliari. I'm gonna go with Nicole Cagliari here, just because she's a bit more well-rounded, and I don't think that Judice is good enough in the striking to outdo Nicole. Nicole Cagliari can grapple and Judice can't, and Cagliari's got submission threats. She's got the ability to, and I just think she has the finishing threat here, and I don't think Judice is all that. I mean, 4-2 is a god-awful record. 8-3 isn't great either, but it's better, and I'm just a bit more impressed by her, I guess. Cagliari, let me see what I had written down. By unanimous decision. Nothing too crazy there. Moving on to Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh. Now, I want to like Jackson McVeigh, and I do. I watched every single fight that he has, and I was going to pick him over Cedric Dumas, and then I was going to pick him over Chris Ewart. Neither of those fights happened. Now they're going to give him to Bruno Ferreira. I will no longer be picking Jackson McVeigh. I'm going with Bruno Ferreira here. This is self-explanatory. Jackson McVeigh is decent. He's a 6'4" lightweight. He's pretty huge. But, Bruno Ferreira, come on now. Just more proven in the UFC, isn't he? KO'd RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez. Got submitted by Abus Magomedov, which I don't really rate Abus that much, so that isn't a good look for Bruno. But then he submitted Armin Petrosian, and he has some other KOs. He KO'd Dustin Stoltzfus. Bruno Ferreira's proven in the UFC. We know where his level's at. We don't know that for Jackson McVeigh, and he hasn't. He's 6-0 with 6 first-round finishes, but just compare to competition, right? Jackson McVeigh, I'm just now realizing, I think I called Jackson McVeigh a lightweight earlier. Did I say he was a 6'4" lightweight? I don't know if I said that or not. I don't know why I would say that. I just feel like I did. He's 6-0, 6 first-round finishes. Man. I just can't get behind it with the level of competition. It's the same reason I picked Derek Lewis over Talson Teixeira. If I pick Jackson McVeigh after everything we've seen from him and Bruno Ferreira, I would just be a fool, So I think he's gonna knock Jackson McVeigh out too. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go Bruno Ferreira round 2 KO or TKO. But Jackson McVeigh, he's got some potential, I think. It's weird because every punch that he lands doesn't look like it should hurt, but damn near every punch he's ever landed hurts because he's getting first-round finishes all across the board. So hopefully he does well. If he won, I would be okay with that. But Bruno Ferreira, just too experienced in the UFC, too proven. You just, off of just logic alone, you just got to go with Bruno Ferreira. Moving on. Ryan Spann versus Lucas Brzeski. Now, I fought with this for a little while because I don't want to pick Ryan Spann, but I just can't bring myself to ever pick Lucas Brzeski. KO'd in round 1 against 2 guys, Kennedy and Nzechukwu, and he also got KO'd in the first round by he's not coming to my head, but Ryan Spann looked dog shit against Waldo Cortez Acosta. But Waldo Cortez Acosta has kind of proven himself to be somebody in this division, at least a little bit. Lucas Brzeski, the best thing he ever did was beat Walter Walker. And to be fair, I don't know how he did that. That was because Lucas Brzeski isn't good, and Walter Walker looked really shit in that fight. But he's been looking really good recently. 3-fight win streak, 3 straight heel hooks. I'm gonna still go with Ryan Spann though. I think I don't know. I mean, God, look at these records: 22-11, 9-6. I can't trust a 9-6 record. I'm sorry, not over 22-11. I'm gonna go with Ryan Spann by round 1 TKO. But I expect Ryan Spann to also look like horse shit. Moving on. Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. I'm going to go with Jimmy Crute here. Just because, I mean, Jimmy Crute is a good grappler. He's a very mid striker, but I think he's got some respectable power. A lot of times when his hands touch, they're doing physical damage. But he's got good submissions, which is actually how I think he's going to win here. I think he's going to submit Marcin Prachnio. Marcin Prachnio could be subbed. He was subbed by... Oh, my God. He was subbed by... Modestas Bukauskas. He's a wild striker with some power as well. But I don't know. I don't trust Marcin Prachnio to beat Jimmy Crute. I think Jimmy Crute, although I don't think he's good at all. You know, I mean, losing to Anthony Smith, losing twice to Alonzo Menifield, he just doesn't really have any good. He doesn't have any good losses. But he KO'd Modestas Bukauskas in round 1, and Marcio got subbed by him, and I don't know. I don't really see much. And Marcin Prachnio, I don't really rate him on the ground that much, and Jimmy Crute I do. So I think he's gonna drop Marcin Prachnio, because Marcin Prachnio is very hurtable. His chin isn't really there, but I think this is gonna be a club and sub victory for Jimmy Crute. Jimmy Crute's gonna drop him with something on the feet, and then he's gonna hop, and as soon as he gets on the ground, he's locking up a submission and getting Prachnio out of there. I'm gonna go round 2 club and sub for Jimmy Crute. All right, moving on to Adam Fugit versus Islam Dulatov. I have something to say about Islam Dulatov. Dude is unreal. He's unreal. 100% finish rate. It says he's 1-0. That is not true. Let me get his real record real quick. I don't know why it's saying that. I just want to fact check his record real quick, because he's got a 100% finish rate. If I could fucking bring it up. 11-1 is his actual record, which is really good. 100% finish rate. He's well-rounded. Really dangerous on the feet. Got amazing grappling instincts. And he's so accurate on the feet. I swear to God, when I was at work watching all his fights, I just felt like every shot that he threw landed throughout his whole career. It's like insane accuracy. He's got the ability to knock you out on the feet and sub you on the ground. He looks perfect, man. He's got the perfect, well-rounded game. Very technical striker, yet powerful. Looks for the kill. His grappling is devastating. And Adam Fugit, I mean, he's just a decent technical striker, but he can be finished. He's been finished by Michael Morales. I think he was finished by a few other people in the UFC. Just hasn't had the best, most impressive career. To be fair, he is fighting people like Michael Morales and all these other guys, and Islam Dulatov is fighting guys with, terrible records, but sometimes you could just see when a guy passes the eye test, you could just kind of tell he's different and he's special, and I do see that in Islam Dulatov. I think he's incredible, and I'm expecting him to go out here and get a first round TKO of Adam Fugit is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting domination here. Adam Fugit isn't terrible, but he's gonna forever be in an unranked area of the welterweight division, and I think Islam Dulatov is destined to be ranked, so I think he gets him out of there pretty early, pretty quickly. Anyways, moving on to Ateba Gutierrez versus Robert Valentin. I'm going to go with Ateba Gutierrez, and I think most people are as well. He's really good. Ateba really is. He's strong and powerful. He can be taken down, but one thing I noticed about Ateba Gutierrez's defensive grappling is he can be taken down, yes, but you're going to have to really work for it. You're going to have to be able to chain takedowns together. Because he's going to stuff a few, so you got to keep it going and chain them together and get him down. That's how you get him down. And Robert Valentin can grapple, but I'm not sure if he's going to really chase it like that to be able to be successful. Man, Gutierrez is a pretty good striker, like on a technical level, despite his power and physicality. I think he's actually a pretty good striker, and Robert Valentin is tall and he can be dangerous on the feet. We've seen that before from him. And I do have a hot take. I did score the fight for Robert Valentin over Torres Finney. Yes, Torres Finney was holding him up against the cage and was refusing to fight, but Robert Valentin was landing elbows and punches. Like Robert Valentin went into that fight to fight. Torres Finney went into that fight to stall and, get a cage stalling victory. And he's a little bitch for that, but I actually scored it for Robert Valentin because he was the only one doing any kind of damage at all. And I don't like those people that say, oh, how could you say Torres Finney didn't win? Did you see how long he was holding him up against the cage? This isn't a sport where you hold people against the cage. This is a sport where you fight. This is a sport where you go out there and you try to intentionally put damage on your opponent. Robert Valentin was the only one doing that. Therefore, he should have won the fight against Torres Finney. And I like that judge that gave all 3 rounds to Robert Valentin. That man knows how to judge a fight. Sorry, I just had to let that out because that shit pissed me off when it happened. Robert Valentin is going to lose this one rightfully, though. He's going to get KO'd. TKO'd by Ateba Gutierrez. But Robert Valentin can take some damage, so maybe late rounds, TKO rounds 2 or 3. But I definitely have Ateba Gutierrez winning. Moving on to Francisco Prada versus... Alright, give me a second here. Nikolay Veretennikov. I'm going to go with Francisco Prada. And my pick of Francisco Prada really isn't any deeper than I'm just not going to pick Nikolay because he's 0-2 in the UFC. Francisco Prada is 1-3, so that's terrible as well, but he at least has a win in the UFC to go off of. Nikolay has never beaten anyone in the UFC. He's 0-2. He hadn't even looked impressive in either fight. They weren't even good losses, and Nikolay's like strictly a range striker, so he's not going to get in. So he's not going to close the distance and start duking it out with you. He's the one to back up, fight at range guy. Whereas Francisco Prado, he's a fun fighter and he goes for finishes. He's not too great in any one area, but he's decent, I guess, all around, and he goes for finishes. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor here. He's probably going to be the one to grit down more if it gets to that point, and he's going to close the distance on Nikolay, who's just trying to create space, and he's going to get in that pocket and just be the one landing the harder shots. And he might even get a finish. I don't know. I'm going to go with him by unanimous decision, but I just think his aggression and his will to want to end the fight is going to be the deciding factor here against Nikolay, who's probably not going to do much damage when he's doing good. When he's winning the fight, there's probably not going to be as much damage being done as when Prada is winning the exchanges. So that's just what I'm going to go with. Moving on to Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen. Now, I am recording this after the press conference that I watched, and I was very upset to see neither of these guys on the press conference. These guys should, first of all, these guys should be on the main card. Marvin Vettori just had a main event, and Brendan Allen has been in the top, facing the top contenders of the division for I don't know how many years. And this is a prelim? Like, I don't understand at all. And there's some fights on the main card that shouldn't be on the main card. I'll get to those. These should have been at the press conference because there's real beef here. They fought in the crowd at an event. And then you're going to have a press conference where they're fighting, and you're not going to put them on the press conference on stage to fight and sell the shit? I guarantee you, if these two were at the press conference, they would have been yapping from across the tables, and maybe Vettori would have gotten up or something and tried to hit Brendan Allen, and because that's just the kind of energy that Marvin Vettori brings to every time he's at a press conference. Like, UFC's retarded, man. They don't know what's best for the company, man. We're gonna see our great sport sink because of the UFC. So stupid. Anyways, I'm gonna go with Brendan Allen. I sound sick. I'm a little sick. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I'm a little sick, so give me some leeway here for how I sound. It's probably annoying, but I'm gonna go with Brendan Allen here because Marvin Vettori sucks. Brendan Allen isn't great either. I've actually thought that Brendan Allen has been overrated for the majority of his career. I've seen a lot of people saying he's championship bound, he's championship material, top 5 material. I've never seen that in Brendan Allen. And I don't know, but Marvin Vettori, here's the thing about Marvin Vettori. I would like to see Marvin Vettori win here, but I don't think he's going to. And I'm gonna tell you why. I've never seen a fighter ever just refuse evolution as much as Marvin Vettori. You can watch Marvin Vettori's. You can take any UFC fighter that's been here for years. Look at their first fight and their most recent fight. You'll see differences in their game. If you go back and watch Marvin Vettori's UFC debut and then watch his most recent fight, he doesn't look like he evolved anything at all. His striking is the same level. His grappling is the same level. He's the same fighter. He hasn't evolved, and Marvin Vettori hasn't ever gotten better. You know what I'm saying? He just doesn't evolve. I've never seen it. It's weird. It's crazy to me. He's so predictable. He can't strike. He's not a strong grappler. I just don't believe in Marvin Vettori as a fighter, dude, at all. Brendan Allen at least is a pretty good grappler. He's got some striking to his game. And we've seen him make adjustments before. That's why he got KO'd by Chris Curtis and came back to win the rematch. Even though I thought Chris Curtis won the rematch, he at least made it to a decision where he could have gotten the decision because it was a close fight. You know, Marvin Vettori, he sucks, dude. Rest in peace, his brother, though. I would like to see Marvin Vettori get this win. I do not like Brendan Allen, so this would be a hilarious loss to rub in his fans' face. Because if he loses to Marvin Vettori here, that is fucking disgraceful, and I would love to laugh about it. But I do see Brendan Allen getting a win here. I don't know what the method is, though. I'm going to go with... Can he sub Vettori? I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with unanimous decision for Brendan Allen. I don't like him, but I am all in on Brendan Allen. Moving on. I accidentally clicked Vinicius Oliveira's profile. Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. Now, this was the hardest on the card for me to pick, if I'm being honest. I was so stuck on this fight for so long. I was so stuck. Do I go with Kyler Phillips? Do I go with Vinicius Oliveira? I have made up my mind. I really want Kyler Phillips to win. Pero I am taking Vinicius Oliveira to win. I think he's just too big and too strong. Vinicius Oliveira. Oh, okay. I had to deal with something. I don't exactly remember where I was. I think I was saying I want Kyler Phillips, but I think Vinicius Oliveira is gonna win. I think it just comes down to the size, really. Vinicius Oliveira, it's just he's much bigger, and he's strong in the clinch. Vinicius Oliveira has got a wild and dangerous striking style, and he's a creative striker too. He was making shit up in there against Saeed. He's well-rounded. Vinicius Oliveira gets fatigued a little bit due to that crazy style, but it's whatever, right? And then like Kyler Phillips is well-rounded, and although he's faster than Oliveira, and he prefers kicks over throwing punches, but there's just one issue I have here with Kyler Phillips in this matchup, and it's just the fact that I think to beat Vinicius Oliveira with the way he fights, oh my god, with the way that Vinicius Oliveira fights, you have to be a fighter that like makes some sort of adjustments mid-fight, because Vinicius Oliveira is crazy, and wild and dangerous, and he's just the kind of fighter he's going to implement some part of his game against you. It's just what it is. When you're fighting Vinicius Oliveira, you shouldn't be thinking, how can I stop him from implementing his game on me? And you should be thinking, how can I adjust later on in the fight after his flurries and stuff. And Kyler Phillips, if you look at that Rob Font fight, he was doing well in round 1. But once Rob Font was really starting to show any kind of resistance to what Kyler was doing, Kyler Phillips shut down, and he wasn't able to make any adjustments to get out of the way from the jab, or just to stop anything Rob Font was doing. He wasn't able to make any adjustments. Vinicius Oliveira, if you don't make any adjustments to his game, he's going to beat the shit out of you. Like he's going to. And I don't know. Vinicius Oliveira is going to put his game all over Kyler Phillips, and Kyler is probably not going to be able to adjust to that and change the fight for himself. So, and Vinicius Oliveira is really strong, and he's a good grappler. There's going to be takedowns and control time on both sides, but I think we're going to see a strength difference for Oliveira when they're on the ground. And on the feet, Kyler Phillips is probably going to land more, but when Oliveira lands, it's going to be much, much more impactful. So, I don't see this being a finish. I see this being a decision. I'm going to make a statement here. I think this is going to be a split decision. We're going to have the argument of Kyler Phillips did more, but Vinicius Oliveira hit harder. So, it's just going to come down to the judges, and it's going to be split decision, I think. And it's going to be like all the fans being like, hold on. And then the last judge will say Vinicius Oliveira, and he'll win the fight by split decision. So that's what I got here. I think to beat Vinicius Oliveira, you're going to have to be able to make adjustments to his game. And I don't see Kyler Phillips doing that based off of his other performances. Dude, it really was the Rob Font fight. I was super impressed in his performance against Pedro Munoz. Very unimpressed with his performance against Rob Font, because I think Rob Font is very beatable. I'm gonna keep it real. He's good. He is, and he's like the best New England cartel guy, and he still got it a little bit, but I just think he's very beatable. Vinicius Oliveira would probably beat Rob Font, So, yeah, there's that. Vinicius Oliveira, split decision. Moving on to Michael Johnson, to the main card. Michael Johnson versus Daniel Zellhuber. Wrong button. I'm going to go with Daniel Zellhuber here, dude. I feel like I don't really need to say anything other than Michael Johnson and Daniel Zellhuber are beefing. They're beefing. Michael Johnson has lost every fight ever where he was beefing with the guy. Every time Michael Johnson gets into a scrap on the mic, the dude brutally finishes Michael Johnson. That's just kind of how it went, how it's been going for his career. 24-19 is fucking... Daniel Zellhuber is really good, I think. 15-2, it's pretty decent. I'm going to go with Daniel Zellhuber by finish. I do think he's going to knock out Michael Johnson. I'm going to say round 3 KO, because I don't think Daniel Zellhuber is like anything that impressive with his strength or his power. I don't really think he's that powerful, but I do see him knocking out Michael Johnson. I don't really think you need much to knock out Michael Johnson, but I think he can at least make it a scrap until round 3, where Daniel Zellhuber is going to get a head kick knockout is what I'm going to say. I'm just throwing out random shit, hoping it lands. I'm going to go with Daniel Zellhuber. Michael Johnson at this stage in his career, I'm sorry, I can't trust you to win. You knocked out Otoman Zaitar. Congratulations. That doesn't move me. Daniel Zellhuber having fight of the year, where he lost, but fight of the year against I forgot his name last time, but I promise you, as soon as I end the recording, his name will come to my head. At UFC 306, I believe it was, at the Sphere, had fight of the year against him. So, and he's good. So yeah, Daniel Zellhuber, round 3 knockout. Don't really need to say much more. Moving on to Dan Ige versus Patricio Pitbull. This is an easy prediction here. Come on, guys. We're going with Dan Ige. Dan Ige, round 2 TKO. Round 2 KO for Dan Ige. I think he's going to finish. I think he's going to knock out Pitbull. Dan Ige is coming off of a really good performance where he TKO'd Sean Woodson. Patricio Pitbull is coming off of a 3-round domination loss where he lost every round to Yair Rodriguez and got dropped by Yair as well, who is not at all known for his punching power, man. Dan Ige is known for his power. Dropped Lerone Murphy, undefeated prospect. He's just too good, and Patricio Pitbull is old as shit, dude. I think this is easy here for Dan Ige. I'm not moved by Pitbull at all in 2025. Whereas Dan Ige still out here getting quality wins and performances. So, yeah, I'm gonna say round 2 TKO or no Cole KO. I think he's putting Pitbull his lights out, dude. So. Dan Ige, round 2 KO. Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. I think this is another easy pick here. Another easy prediction for Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland is going to win by decision because Daniel Rodriguez is really tough, bro. And yeah, Kevin Holland, I guess, could get a sub, but Kevin Holland usually gets subs over people when they're initiating the grappling, and I don't see that here. I think this is going to be a 3-round stand-up match where Kevin Holland is just going to be too fast and too slick. Daniel Rodriguez, I don't think he's that good, but he's gritty and he's tough, and you could tell he loves to fight. But on a technical level, he's not that good. Kevin Holland is. Kevin Holland is just going to be a bit too rangy. He's really tall with long reach. He's got, look at that, 81 inches to 74. Come on now. Kevin Holland is really good at using that range to his advantage as well. And Daniel Rodriguez, he's not somebody that's gonna, get through that. So Kevin Holland by unanimous decision, 3 rounds to none, because I don't think Daniel Rodriguez is anything too special. Moving on to co-main event with my boy Paulo Costa. I'm going to go with Paulo Costa, man. And yes, 100%, you could say that my pick of Paulo Costa is fueled by a bit of bias because I am a really big fan of Paulo Costa, but I've always trusted and believed in Paulo Costa, even though time and time again he's proven me wrong. I just trust in his skill set. And he's lost a lot recently. Lost to Sean Strickland, lost to Robert Whittaker, but he has good losing performance. That's one thing about Paulo Costa that I always give him credit for. Other than his Israel Adesanya fight, his only three other losses are good performance losses. Really rocked Robert Whittaker in round one, and I do believe had there been 10 extra seconds in round one, he would have finished Robert Whittaker, because I don't believe he was as recovered as a lot of people make him out to be. But, and then he did have a pretty competitive performance against Sean Strickland, where Sean still clearly won, but that was unfortunate. Roman Kopylov, I mean, knocking out Cesar Almeida, it's decent, but not this level guy, getting submitted by Fluffy. Granted, Paulo Costa is not the kind to go out there and just take you down and sub you, but Paulo Costa does have, if you know anything at all about Paulo Costa, you know the best part of his game is in his striking. The best part is his defensive grappling. Now, I don't think he's going to need that in this fight, but I do think Paulo Costa is a really good offensive grappler as well. He hasn't showed it that much, but whenever we've seen Paulo Costa grapple, he's looked really good. And Roman Kopylov has not at all. He's been grappled to a decision loss. He's been submitted. He's been thrown around. I think if Paulo Costa is smart, which to be fair, we really can't trust him to be, if he's smart, I think he wins this fight handily by mixing in grappling and striking. But I do think he's going to go out there and just strike with Roman Kopylov. And here's my issue with that for Roman Kopylov. Chris Curtis was arguably winning the fight against Roman Kopylov before that bullshit-ass knockout. That was one of the worst early stoppages I've ever seen in my life. There was like 5 seconds left, and he hits Curtis with a head kick, who goes down on a knee, and the ref just calls it off. 5 seconds left. If that kick hadn't landed, there's a real argument there that Chris Curtis wins that fight. And I don't really rate Chris Curtis like that, never have. I think Paulo Costa would beat the shit out of Chris Curtis in a very non-competitive fight. And Kopylov, he is good, but I don't know. I think they're the same age, and Paulo Costa has been to much greater heights. And I just think that, and they have similar fights. Paulo Costa only has one more total fight. I just think with the same amount of fights, the same age, I think there's a reason Paulo Costa has reached greater heights than Roman Kopylov. And I think we're going to really see that on display here. Roman Kopylov is a lot of torso. He is very body long. And Paulo Costa is known for having amazing body. He rips at a body beautifully with his right hand and his body kick. And he has a beautiful head kick as well. Paulo Costa hits so hard, and he's a really great finisher when he's locked in. Most of his, he has 2 decision wins, I think. Yoel and Rockhold. All the others are finishes, so. And Roman Kopylov has been impressive lately, but I don't know. I like Paulo Costa in this matchup. Fueled by a little bit of bias, of course, but I've picked against who I want to win before, and I'm going to do it in the next fight. So, I'm going to go with Paulo Costa here by unanimous decision, because Roman Kopylov is a tough dude. Moving on to the main event of the evening. Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. Perfect case scenario. Dustin Poirier hurts Max Holloway. Max Holloway panic shoots into a guillotine, and Dustin Poirier taps out Max Holloway with a guillotine. Perfect scenario, perfect case. However, I'm going to predict Max Holloway round 4 TKO. Yep. Dustin Poirier, the most impressive thing he did against Islam Makhachev was last to round 5. The grappling was all Islam. The striking was pretty even. Maybe Poirier having a slight edge. Poirier is really good, even now. But Max Holloway is itching. I think he's itching right now. I think he's hungrier. He's coming off of his first knockout loss at featherweight against Ilia Topuria. Ilia is now the lightweight champion. So Max Holloway is going to have to once again prove himself to fight for the belt against Ilia. And he's just hungrier, I think. I think after his first KO loss ever, he is itching to show that he's still here. And Dustin Poirier is very slow nowadays. His hips are just terrible. He's much slower. Can't throw the same combinations with the same speed, with the same power. Poirier is really good. He used to be really good, but Max Holloway is just more in his prime. There's an argument to be made that Max Holloway is as good now as he's ever been. Better now than he's ever been. Whereas there is no argument for that for Poirier. Poirier mentally is the best he's ever been, but physically he can't keep up with his younger self. So, and Max Holloway, let's be real. Let's be real here. Let's go over both fights. Dustin Poirier beat Max Holloway in Max Holloway's UFC debut, his first ever fight in the UFC. Very inexperienced. And he was like, what, 19, 20 or something? You know? And in the second fight, Max Holloway clearly did not fill in for the for the lightweight division correctly. He was a bit chubby, and didn't perform at his best. If Max Holloway is in the same physical is like the same Max Holloway that fought Justin Gaethje, I don't see him not also sleeping Dustin Poirier. Against Gaethje, Max Holloway, and I guess you could also contribute to this to Gaethje because Gaethje's not a fast guy at all. But Max Holloway looks so quick. He looked like he had so much steam behind his shots. His combinations were beautiful. The spinning back kick was just money all night long. And it's just, he looked amazing against Justin Gaethje. I do think that Justin Gaethje, though, is also... I think Poirier is better than Gaethje. I always thought that. But Gaethje's more likely to just get a random flash knockdown more than Poirier, so I don't see Poirier even knocking down Max Holloway. They're both going to get hurt for sure. Dustin Poirier will hurt everybody he fights, even right now. But it's just, I think Max is going to be 2 in his prime. He's not even old. He's still under 35, I think. Very much faster. And he's bigger. Dustin, for this fight, is very lean. I think he even said himself, he's the smallest he's been for a fight at the lightweight division. And Max Holloway's not. If you've seen their face-off, Max Holloway is bigger. He's the bigger human being here. Being bigger and faster, man, that's a recipe for disaster for the other guy. Poirier is still going to hit harder, and he's probably going to be the one succeeding more in the pocket boxing, the very close ranges. But I just think Holloway could probably eat more at this stage in their careers, so I like Max Holloway in this fight, unfortunately. I'm rooting for Dustin. I want Dustin to win. If Dustin Poirier wins, they have to let him retire with the BMF belt and never bring the BMF back. The BMF belt is stupid. It's a stupid idea. The only reason behind the title is to have an extra main event in your back pocket if you can't have an undisputed champion main event a pay-per-view card. That's what it's for. That's the only thing they've ever done with it. So I've been trying so hard, guys. I've been trying so hard to find reasons to pick Poirier. I'm not going to. I think Max Holloway's got it. I think he's got it in the bag. Poirier just can't move like he used to, and Max Holloway can move better than he ever could, so. And he might have some dynamite in his hands in the lightweight division now, so. Official prediction, Max Holloway, round 4 TKO up against the cage. I don't think he's going to sleep Poirier. He's not knocking Poirier out cold. It's going to be a thing where he's taking too much damage over 4 rounds, both to the head and the body. And Max Holloway, I think he's going to sting Poirier, who then slugs up against the cage with his back to the cage. And then we're going to see Max Holloway headshot, body shot, headshot, body shot, headshot, body shot, headshot, body shot. You know, where I'm talking 10, 11, 12 punch combinations where Dustin Poirier just can no longer survive. And he's just going to crumble and fall to the floor and get finished. Mainly due to body shots. That's what I see. Don't shoot the messenger. That's what's going to happen. Check my, before I head off here, check my YouTube shorts. I uploaded a new thing I'm doing. I'm not doing a underdog of the week this week. I'm only going to be doing my props of the week, which is something I just started, so we'll see how that goes. Thank you guys for watching this. I'm about to head out. It's getting hot in this room, and I turned off my AC for videos because it's super loud and I'm getting hot, so, because it's like 80 something outside. So, appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll see how well I do. See ya.